but I don't have the money to venture into this fully. And that is the issue now, sir. What do you think I can do? I've been learning several skills pertaining to the field on YouTube. Wow. I'm intentionally saying all of these things so that you can know that it is possible. You can grow from nothing to something in as much as you're intentional about what you want to build and that dream God has given to you. And to any young person that feel like they have a dream but don't have an enabling environment that will help them pursue their dream, I'm speaking straight from my heart. These are things that I wish somebody had told me when I was in that situation, and somehow God helped me figure it out. So, and that is why I'm here sharing the same principles, sharing the same step I took, and I hope you find answers. Hello fam, you're welcome back to my channel and my podcast. And if you are new here, this is the Do Everything You'll One Day Need podcast. My name is Deyon Gandonu. I am called and inspired to help young people find answers to some of life's toughest questions. And I do that by sharing my opinion, insights, knowledge, revelation on various topics that affect young people in our everyday lives. I'm so excited to have you be a part of this beautiful community. And I want to say a very big thank you to all my returning subscribers and family members for staying tuned and for coming back and for supporting this channel. Thank you. God bless you. Last week, I made a video on the cost of our dream. The video is about 22 minutes long. And to be honest with you guys, while I was making it, I feared it will not even get any watch. It will not get much watch compared to my previous videos, because I felt like it was too long and it was full of many, errors. But because of what I'm trying to build, of course, this is not a scripted podcast. It's coming straight from my heart. So because of what I'm trying to build, and I'm also trying to learn and develop myself, on effective communication and speaking, I decided to leave it like that. But I was amazed and blown away by the reaction and the level of engagement that video has gotten in the past 1 week. It has blown me away, not just by the online metrics, not just by the engagement alone. I have got loads of messages in my DM on WhatsApp. Many young people, were fired up after they saw that video. So some of them came into my DM asking me lots of questions. In fact, between that video and now, I've spoken to 4 different people on 4 different occasions, answering 4 different questions on the topic of, dreaming and chasing our dream. And because I'd already promised last week that this week I'm going to be speaking on purpose, what has happened after that video I dropped last year has forced me to want to continue or make more topics or contribute to that previous video by, making more topics that are related to dreaming, because I feel there are many young people out there who are struggling with this topic, who are looking for answers. They have many, I wouldn't even say we have many amazing dreams, many amazing ideas, but we are stuck at the point of execution. We are stuck at the point of chasing these dreams because of one challenge or the other. And mind you, those challenges I can categorize those challenges into internal and external challenges. What are the external challenges? Those external challenges are those challenges that that choke our dreams from the outside. It could be family issues, it could be financial challenges, it could be lack of help, it could be inadequate funding, it could be this, it could be that. Those are the external challenges. Those are the challenges that choke our dream from the outside. While the second category of these challenges, I categorize them as the internal challenges. Those internal challenges, some of those examples are fear, doubt, comparison, lack of self-esteem, doubt, laziness, procrastination, to mention but a few. So I've decided that I'm going to try my best to, make to shine spotlights on some of these challenges and how young people can navigate them, so that each and every one of us can not just stop at the place of dreaming, but have enough courage, passion, enthusiasm, and optimism to chase our dream even until the very end. Mind you, there are lots of importance of chasing our dreams. It doesn't just benefit us on the long run, it benefits our generations unborn. Marianne Williams said in her quote, our deepest fear, that when we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. So when we chase our dreams, we don't know we are inspiring a whole lot of people, not just our children, but many, many young people who do not have that capacity or the courage to chase their dreams. They become energized when they see us living in our own purpose. And one of to jump, I think I want to make this a series, and the series is titled "The Principles of Chasing Our Dreams," or "The Principles of Dreaming," or "The Principles of whatever." But I hope you get what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to give out some experiential knowledge and thoughts and revelations on some of the things young people can do that would now take away, that would, no matter how high the external and internal pressure or challenges might seem, we will still have courage, we will still have power, we will still have that doggedness to chase our dream to whatsoever length we might desire to chase it to. And one of the things that is really, really, foiling me up, that's really, really inspiring me to continue on this series of the topic of our dream, is one message I got from one young man yesterday in my WhatsApp DM. The message touched me so much. Let me read it to you guys. And you can imagine how many young people are out there struggling with this same feeling, struggling with this same circumstance, struggling with this same challenge. And that is why I am so glad I am lending my voice to help solve this problem. So I'm inviting all of the members of this community to not just be listeners, okay? I know many of you out there are watching this and you have vast knowledge, even more than I do. You have experience in terms of these topics I speak about, and I don't want you to limit your knowledge to yourself. Please share it in the comment below, especially on this topic I'm going to be speaking on today. If you know anything that is going to help this young man, please make sure you share it so that we can watch him and help him actualize his dreams. So I got the message on WhatsApp at about 6:35 p.m. yesterday. He commented on my status. I shared the link on my WhatsApp status. I guess after he watched it, he came back to my DM and said, I said, "I am also in the same issue too. I want to go into my business fully, which is hairstyling. But it seems all things are off. Like I don't even know what to do. It is even in the aspect of money now. All things are now high. Though people have all things are now high. Though people have their haircuts and plait their hair, but I don't have the money to venture into this fully. And that is the issue now, sir. What do you think I can do? I've been learning several skills pertaining to the field on YouTube." Wow. I know this guy personally, and I'll be very, very open with you guys. He finished from the fellowship I attended on campus, and because I am an alumnus of the fellowship, once in a while I get to speak. They invite me to come and speak to them on various topics, be it in their leadership retreats, be it in their campus fellowship services or whatsoever. So I've gotten the opportunity to speak to them many, many times without number. I think it was one of those occasions I met this young man, and I like to ask young people, especially undergraduates, a simple question whenever I meet them. I say, okay, what are you doing? Okay, what are you studying? What level are you? And besides schooling, what else do you do? Or what else can you do? Or how else do you spend your time when you are not, reading or attending lectures? And on one of those days, I met this young man. His name is Tife, and I was able to ask him this question, and that was how we became friends. And he told me that he is a barber. Okay, he's a barber. He knows how to barb, and I was like, oh. So one day I invited him over. I called him, sent him Tife and told him to come and cut my hair. And trust me, for his level, he didn't do poorly. He did amazingly well. He came to my house that fateful evening. I gave him my barbing gears, and he did a very, very nice job. And after that, I've engaged him on different occasions, asking, okay, what do you want to do now after school? What are your plans? And he has told me at some point, he said he got a job, but later he said the job was not, what's the pay and all of that, and he had to, settle back to his a salon business. And now this young man is right here, stuck, especially on this topic of no money, no funding, and in the midst of this bad economy. He wants to know what he needs to do to raise funds to be able to chase his dream. Wow, this is very overwhelming, and I can relate with this because I have been there. I can relate with Tife because I had a similar challenge. I came up from an environment and a background that could not really help me when I needed help to chase my own dream. I told you guys in the last video that I told you how I don't think I told you in detail, but I'm going to emphasize it in this video, how I really built my business from ground zero to this point. And I can say that I am proud. I am grateful to God for helping me do it, for making me be, at the right place at the right time, because I made some decisions while I was on campus, which were the things that really, really helped me achieve the success I have achieved now. And I want to thank God for helping me, meet all those people and be where I was, that gave me, the exposure I needed to start all of this. And I must tell you that every principle I'm going to share in response to Tife's questions are principles that I picked up somehow or sometimes while I was in Tife's position. I was broke. I was dead broke. My parents had to farm for me to get into school. It's a very, very gruesome story. My dad had to farm. My mom had to farm. They were pensioners. They didn't have money to send me to school. In fact, my elder brother had to skip school. Had to drop in. Not that he dropped out, but it was supposed to get into school, but because of me, he had to say, no, I will stay at home, you go to school first. That was how difficult things were for us in my family. So my parents had to farm for me to get into school, up to the point that even my dad could not hold a spoon to eat because of the amount of blisters that he had gotten from farming. So when I got into school, I hardly concentrated because, I was always not allowed to enter a lecture room, or not allowed to take this course because maybe perhaps I've not bought a textbook, or I've not bought an handout, or I've not done this. So that was a story. So I'm saying this specifically to Tife and to any young person that feel like they have a dream but don't have an enabling environment that will help them pursue their dream. I'm speaking straight from my heart. These are things that I wish somebody had told me when I was in that situation, and somehow God helped me figure it out. So, and that is why I'm here sharing the same principles, sharing the same step I took, and I hope you find answers. So as I was saying, I was like Tife, I when I got into school, I couldn't concentrate. I was studying mechanical engineering because my dream at the time was to become a design engineer, because I was very, very good at, crafting, drawing. I could create almost anything out of nothing. And I felt like, okay, I want to venture all of this prowess into engineering. So I got into engineering after many failed attempts to get into school, jam story and all of that. Eventually, I got into a polytechnic and started pursuing my dream to become an engineer. But because of the challenges at home, because of the narrative that surrounded my family, it was even difficult. It was difficult to do some things in school. Thank God to one of my uncles who accommodated me throughout the entire period. Else, the thought of getting an accommodation would have been another story. But in the midst of all of that, 8 years later, I am here. I'm not bragging about it, but I'm proud about it. I have built a multi-million naira business in Nigeria that has given me the opportunity to work with different people across the globe, that has helped me build different levels of relationship with different people around the world, that has put food on my table, that has financed my marriage, financed my dreams, financed many things, many things. As I speak to you, this month, this is February. I was able to do seven figures in turnover for my business. And what is that business? It is a media advertising and consulting business. That is how much I have made, and I made all of this through the same principles I'm going to be sharing in this video. And even before I came to record my podcast, I just finished a meeting with one of my clients in the UK who is paying me handsomely, to build their brand. And I want to say I am grateful to God. And Tife and any other young person that might be listening to it, I'm intentionally saying all of these things so that you can know that it is possible. You can grow from nothing to something in as much as you are intentional about what you want to build and that dream God has given to you. And today, I might not have made and I might not have become one of the notable or biggest brands in Nigeria, but at least I'm solving my own family's problem in my own little way. I'm contributing to my community. I'm contributing to the lives of other young people that didn't have access the same way I didn't have access. I'm contributing to the lives of young people that grew up where I grew up from that non-enabling environment, and nothing else can give me fulfillment than this. So I'm going to reply these questions in the next few minutes as I share this story. So Tife here says that he's skilled. I have witnessed his skill. He has rendered a service to me before, and I can say that this young man is good. He knows what he's doing. He has the skill, but he is caught in between the economic meltdown and lack of financial support to chase his dream. And this story I'm about to share, I hope it helps Tife and any young person that might be in a similar situation. So I told you guys how incapacitated I was before I got into school, and how I wanted to study mechanical engineering, or how I was studying mechanical engineering but could not concentrate in school because the lack around me was so much. But something happened. As much as I was in love with mechanical engineering, I saw fault in the academic system of Nigeria, because as at the time, in fact, I fell out of love of engineering from my first year on campus, because I was so bored out by the materials, by the teaching techniques, by the traditional methods that our lecturers at the time were using, to teach us. As at 2013, when I got into school, I could see the notable advancements in the engineering sphere. But when I compare that to what we're being taught in school, and besides, in fact, my dad advised me to go through the route of Polytechnic if I indeed wanted to enjoy engineering, because he said there were more of practicals there than the university. And of course, I could always transit through direct entry or do postgraduate if I still want to go through the university, and which was something that gave me so much joy. But by the time I got into school, the reverse was the case. I didn't love it. So far back first year during my learning days, I already fell out of love of engineering. So it was at that point I started thinking and looking within myself that what can I do? Because obviously, and at that point too, the narrative was, I have uncles, I have friends, I have elderly ones that I knew, either directly or indirectly, that had gone through this same engineering. Even some of them became best graduating students, top their classes, even I know an uncle that got, MTN award or blah, blah, blah for being the best graduating student. And years later, he still didn't make anything out of his engineering. So I was like, do I really still want to do this? Not that I lacked faith, but I was already seeing that engineering was not going to be it for me in Nigeria. The only way I was still going to pursue engineering was if I get sponsorships to travel abroad, and which was very, very bleak. So it was at that point that I started thinking that, okay, in another few years from now, I'll be out of college. I'll have to go back home. And do I want to go back to the same parents who struggle to pay my bills, who struggle to finance me while I am on campus. And I was like, what can I do? What can I do that would put my life on a trajectory that even if I cannot support my parents, at least I will not be a burden on them. And it was then I started thinking of what I could do. And like I told you guys before, I've always been very creative. Anything I touch, I would definitely make gold out of it. So luckily for me, I had an Android phone at the time. And before Android phone, my dad used to be a computer institute manager. He used to lecture students on CorelDRAW, desktop publishing packages and all of that. So from there, I'd already known how to use the computer perfectly. I could use CorelDRAW perfectly. I could design. I could do different things. But I still didn't know it was going to be something I would be doing for the rest of my life. So, but while I was on campus, at different levels, I'm trying to skip. I'm not saying the entire story. During my national diploma days, I became one of the leaders in the fellowship at some point. I became the chief editor, I became the academics coordinator and the PRO. And all of these roles required me to creatively create newsletters and things that would, increase the students' thirst for knowledge, for the academics, and I was like the bridge between them and the outside world. As much as we were teaching them how to, be academically sound, we were also trying to, teach them life after school, how to, and all of that. So I had that to do, and I needed to leverage on every available resource around me to do that. So it was then I had to turn to my phone. I could do graphics on PC, but I didn't have a PC and I had a phone. So it was then I started researching what are those things I could do. Then I bumped into apps from PixArt to this, and I started creating amazing things. Now, it was during that time that people started saying, wow, brother, you are good at this, so you are good at graphics, so then one guy too at the time had a camera in the fellowship, so he used to be in the drama department. So anytime he's acting, I would have to take pictures. When people saw the beautiful pictures I was taking, they were like, oh, brother, you'll be a good photographer. I was like, wow. So by the time I'd done that for like 2 years, because national diploma is 2 years, and it was time for internship, and I was already very, very good. Even if, in fact, at that time, many churches that would see what we do in our fellowship would call me, would call people that and ask people, who is this person doing this graphics for you? Who is doing this photography for you? And my name was all over everywhere, and I would get stipends then to get all of those things done for them. And I was making some small money while I was on campus. And besides that, before I even got into all of that, I had picked up some others. I had done some other side jobs, like I had done laundry for a laundry shop, because I just needed to keep making money, because it makes me sick anytime I call home, and of course I know I was going to get a no money response from home. So that was how my life evolved. And after my ND, I decided it was time for internship. So somehow, to cut the long story short, I knew a friend who was a music producer at a media firm at the time. I visited him and I told him, when I got there, I was so surprised that, oh, come on, do you do all of this? He said, yes, that this is where it works. And I said, I've always wanted to learn all of these things professionally, and if you wouldn't mind, I don't mind taking this period of my internship to learn this professionally. And luckily for me, his boss was just passing. God bless you, Bro Toba. His boss was just passing, and he just said, boss, Egbon was what they used to call their boss. They just said, Egbon, this my friend. He's a creative guy. He's interested in all of these media things that we do. And the man said, okay, come, what have you been doing before? I want you to take note of that question. Mr. Toba asked me that, what have you been doing before? Thank God I was on my phone that day, and I showed him what I've been doing on my phone. It took him minutes to scroll through the amazing things he saw on my phone. Tife, if you are watching this, I'm going somewhere. I'm trying to paint a picture so that you will get the misery behind the entire story. And he said, wow, you did all of this with your phone? I said, yes. You did this with your phone? I said, yes. You did this with your phone? I said, yes. Then he gave me an offer. He said, okay, we'll allow you intern with us, but without pay. And that's the best thing anybody can do for me. And I grabbed the offer, like, sir, I don't mind. So that was how I started working with Freelink Media as an intern. And luckily for me, my boss told me he was not going to pay me, but after the first month, he started paying me some stipends, and that was how my life evolved. Now, fast forward to how the whole thing now turned around for me. So I interned for 1 year, that is 12 months, which is the stipulated time for internship in Nigeria. But because I had already known that if I want to further my education, either via direct entry or via the HND route, I was on my own. I knew my parents. Thank you. I knew my parents had done enough, and they wouldn't be able to finance the rest of my dreams. So if I was to get back to school, it was going to be on my own terms. So at the time, I was already learning. I was already a professional photographer. I was already better at graphics. In fact, I'd already even brought some other ideas to the media firm that already made me so indispensable. And I spoke to my boss after my first 1 year had elapsed, and I told him that I would like to continue my internship, and he said okay, that they were willing to retain me because of course I was productive and I was helping them get results. That was how I started my second year of internship with the media firm. But at that point, the stipends they were paying me was not enough to start my own dreams, and I had a life to chase. I still have school. As at the time, I was already cutting my wife. And at the time, my wife was already working. Becca was already working with Lagos State Health Service Commission. So it was more like she was waiting for me, to finish school. Because she was earning well. She was doing well for herself. And her husband to be was still, struggling and does not even have money. God bless you, my wife. So I walked up to my boss and said that, okay, I knew that I needed to do something else that will bring more money for me to pursue my own dream and catch up with my life the way I've always wanted to. Then I walked up to my boss and I told him that, sir, I need to get a job. I need to go look for a job. Even as at that time, I was so tempted to going back to engineering because I felt like maybe if I get an engineering internship, maybe with Mobil or Shell Gas or anywhere, maybe I would get enough money. So I was so tempted and I said, sir, I want to go back to engineering and I want to raise money so I can get my own camera, get my laptop and all of those things. And it was like, okay, you could use our own stuffs now. You could use our own stuffs if you want to. And that's another story. But along the line, during my second year of internship, I wasn't still, using the company stuff was not giving me that much courage and confidence like I had my own stuff. And luckily for me, one day, I sat with my uncle who accommodated me while I was still on campus, and he had a problem, and I was like, he said, Dayon, I help a friend in the US run a bar, and the man is at the verge of closing down the bar. And I was like, what happened? He said they are not making sales. He says they're not making sales, and the man is frustrated. And I was like, okay, sir, when people come to take drinks, beer or whatever they come to drink, what else do you do? And he said there used to be somebody that used to sell pepper soup at the time, but the person left and they don't have any other person that will be doing that for them. And I said, I can cook pepper soup. And he said, really? And trust me, I have never cooked pepper soup before. I've never cooked pepper soup before. But one thing I could do is I could cook. Because I grew up in a house of 4 boys, 1 girl. So my mom will make a roster for us to ensure that all her boys cook. So I was very, very good at cooking. Then I said I was going to cook pepper soup, and that was how he gave me the job. Then I cooked pepper soup for, I think, 3 to 4 months. Then I was able to raise some amount of money. Now, this is the answer I'm trying to arrive at. Many young people, when they want to chase their dream, when they want to build something, we know when they have calculated the costs and they know this is the X amount of money building this dream will cost me. The mistake many young people make after they must have calculated the cost of their dream is that they go all out asking people for help. Let's say you want to start a business or an idea or a dream, and the dream will cost you an X amount of money, let's say 10 million naira to get the idea started. The mistake many young people make is that they go all out asking and begging for help. The first question that comes to our mind is that, how do I raise this 10 million naira? And the first answer that usually comes to our head is that we remember one of our uncle who is in House of Senate, or we remember one of our daddy's friend who is a politician, or we remember one of our pastors who, is rich, and we remember somebody somewhere, uncle, aunt, brother, sister, that at the end of the day, when they are unable to help us, leaves us so heartbroken that we might not even have any heart left to chase our dream again. So that is the misconception I would like to correct about chasing our dream. And that is the very first principle I want to teach you. Whenever you are at the verge of chasing your dream, fine, we know you need money. Fine, we know you need money, you need finance to get it started. We know you need sponsorship. We know you need support. But the first thing to do is not going out to ask for help. Because when you go out to ask for help, people are likely to see you as a parasite. They are likely to see you as somebody who wants to reap where he or she has not sown. So before you go out next time to ask somebody for money to build your dream, this is what you want to do. Think of this question: what can I do that would inspire people to help me? Okay, I need 10 million naira to start this business. What should I have done that when I now approach somebody who is able to give me that 10 million naira, by the virtue of what I have done, by the story I give to them, by the story I narrate to them on what I have done on myself or by myself, I think I missed that. So the mistake we should not make, so before you go to anybody and ask them that, I need money, give me money, borrow me money, or whatever, which are the easiest things to do, the first thing you want to do is, what can I do that will inspire people to help me? Or what should I have done that by the time I now go out seeking and reaching out to people for help will compel people, will move people, will push people, will inspire people so much to contribute or help me raise the money I need? I think that is the point I am trying to make in this video. I was at that point. I was like Tife. I'm not saying that Tife is going around asking people for money. No, that's not what I'm saying. But usually, when we want to build our dreams, when we are faced with that hurdle of how do I raise money, we are always stuck at that point that we don't know how to do. And the longer we stand at that point of, needing money, the further our the more our dreams diminishes, the more the passion diminishes, the more the drive diminishes. Imagine you've gone to Mr. A, you've been rejected. You've gone to Mr. B, you've been rejected. You've gone to a politician, you've been rejected. You've gone to a pastor, you've been rejected. And these are bright ideas. Not just that you didn't have your facts right. You presented a proposal, you did a convincing, you told them, you even pitched some certain amount of your business as their own, what's the word? Lion's Den. You know what I'm talking about. As their own portion, as their own gain when they give you that support, and still you don't get it. Imagine you've been disappointed 10 times, or you've met 10 people who told you no 10 times. You won't still have that drive that you had when you first conceived the dream. The only thing that will be left in your house is emptiness, is bitterness, is failure. You now build a failure mindset that no. I think I was stupid for dreaming this big. I think I was stupid for thinking this is achievable. So that was something God helped me figure out. Imagine I had not done what I did. So after I sold pepper soup, to wrap up the story, after I sold pepper soup, I was able to raise about 70,000 naira in, I think, 3 or 4 months or more than, I can't really remember now. Then I called my parents. Prior to that, I'd never called them that I needed money. They didn't know I was selling pepper soup. They didn't know all the things I had to go through just to make sure I remove my own burden from their lives. But the day I called my mom and I said, Mom, I want to buy a camera. Do you know what she said? She said, Daniel, you know I don't have the money to buy you a camera. I said, yes, Mommy, I don't know. But what if, okay, she said, how much is the camera you want to buy? I said, okay, at the time, my first camera, I bought a Nigerian used, like Nigerian badly used. I'll show you guys the camera if I can in any other video. I should even bring the camera now and show you guys. I've kept the camera. I've given it out to people. Many people have trained with it. I've learned with it, and I still collect it back because it's a national treasure to me. And my mom said, how much is the camera? And I said, if a Nigerian used cost 110,000 naira, that was 2017. 2017, yes, to be precise. And my mom said, you know, I don't have 110,000 naira. And I said, yes, Mommy, I know you don't have. And the next thing I said is that, Mommy, what if I have 70,000 naira? Will you still be able to help me? And my mom said, what? You have 70,000 naira? She was so surprised. Because she knew I was not doing anything. She knew how much I was earning from internship. It was more like stipends that I would just barely spend on basic things. But she was inspired and happy when I told her I had raised 70,000 naira out of 110,000 naira. And the next day, my mom called me and said, Daniel, send us your account number. And she sent 80,000 naira to me. 80,000 naira, that means she sent 40k extra. My mom had sent another 40k extra. How she got that money, I don't know, because I didn't ask her. But something in my heart told me that my mom loaned that money. Up till date, I know my mom loaned that money. But if I had called her months before that, Mommy, I needed 110,000 naira to buy a camera, maybe I would still be here. I wouldn't even be married, because where is the money to get married? I won't be married. Now, that business has become a business that is not just making me money, but that is also providing jobs for many other young people around me. Have you learned something from my story? If you have learned anything, it is my simple principle that don't always ask for help first. Rather, think of ways that would inspire people to help you. Many young people we see around the block today are not chasing their dream because of that excuse. Nobody is helping me. Everybody is wicked. My uncle is wicked. My daddy has all of this. My mommy have all of this. Nobody is helping me. Those are the excuses. But whereas, what if you take a second job? What if you go back to go forward? Go back to go forward in the sense that, what if you do something that is not in line of your dream at all, just to achieve your dream? I did something that was not in line with my dream at all. What correlation does selling pepper soup have to do with, media? But I knew going back, is a catapult that will launch me forward. So I had to go and learn something or do something that has now made me an independent husband, father, friend, and child to my parents. So if this video has inspired you, share it with any amazing young person you know in the world, and let it inspire you. Let it inspire you to stop playing those small mind games, to stop thinking that there is somebody somewhere that is divinely positioned to come and help you. Well, you might have somebody that will give you millions to execute your dream, but me, I didn't have. And that was how I had to look within and say, what can I do by myself? And I can tell you on and on that after my mom sent that 80k, people started sending money to me. One of my cousins in the UK sent money to me. My uncle's wife, my late uncle's wife, like my second mom, she gave me money. People started giving me money because they saw that I had done something for myself. Imagine I had not done anything and I was running around. People should help me. Maybe they wouldn't have helped me. So what can you do for yourself that will help you or that will put you on the journey of achieving your dream? Thank you for watching to the end. My name is Daniel Gandonu, and until I see you next time, don't forget to continue doing everything you will one day need. If I have any advice to any young person in the world, that would be the only advice. Keep doing everything you one day need. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share it with any young person in the world, and stay blessed. Bye.